I love to beta test games. Watching something being built and helping creators with feedback is one of my favorite ways to pass the time. When I got an email saying I was accepted to test a game called IRL Vancouver, I was ecstatic. I don't remember signing up for it, but I'm always on sites like Kickstarter, so I assumed it just slipped my mind. The email described it as an open-world, real-life simulator set in Vancouver. The quotations around simulator seemed strange, but I assumed that English wasn't the developer's native language and I glossed over it. The game was attached as a zip file to my email, which was definitely not normal. A quick antivirus scan and a 3.2 gigabyte file eased my worries. However, I went ahead and installed it. A plain white loading screen filled my monitor with a tip in the middle. Remember to train IRL before hunting the pariah. Being new, I had no idea what that meant, but I was excited at the prospect of multiplayer. The game finished loading and I was presented with a black screen. After a few seconds of confusion, I realized I was in a dark room and I had to wait for my character's pupils to adjust to it. That was honestly a pretty impressive start to a real-life simulator. But I would have liked to create my own character. I got out of the bed I was in, trying to avoid waking my wife, and made my way into the kitchen, taking a moment to inspect the minimal HUD. No health bar, just an outline of a man to show where the pain would be. A purple cloud in my stomach showed that I was hungry, and a light yellow one a little lower let me know that I had to pee. Other than that, nothing else was on the screen to help me besides a tooltip in the top corner that said, "Press B for biography." I hit B and a 40-page biography appeared over the game. It was literally a full life story detailing his hopes, dreams, friends, hobbies, even his minor drug problem. After a quick scan, I felt like I knew Kevin Wilcott better than I knew myself. I flicked the light on, and my breath was taken away by the impossible level of detail. If a screenshot was shown to me, I would argue that it was a lie and just a photograph of a kitchen. I took a look in the fridge and I'm noticing milk and eggs. A memory explaining on how to bake a cake popped up in a little translucent box. I figured this was a good tutorial as of any, and the controls were very complicated, so I took the chance to learn what I'm doing. Trying to get the flour out of the pantry, I misjudged the weight and dropped it, shooting flour across the kitchen with a loud bang. I heard movement coming from the bedroom, and Kevin's very upset wife, Tracy, stomped out, tying up her robe as she scolded me. "Are you kidding me? It's 3 in the goddamn morning. What the hell are you doing?" No text box came up, but I got an idea and put my mic on. Hello? Hi, hello, answer the question. I nearly fell out of my chair. Voice recognition and NPCs is unheard of, especially in beta. So I decided to have a little fun with it. "I'm making a cake, Bessie. Got any milk for me or should I use the jug, my bovine beauty?" Then I beamed her in the forehead with an egg. She shrieked like a banshee and ran back into the room, screaming about divorce and how I'm back on drugs while she packed a suitcase. On her way out, I chased her through the yard, peeing on her heels and in the car as she got in before she backed out of the driveway, and spinning the tires as she took off down the street. 15 minutes later, I realized cooking was done in real time, so I decided to call it a night and check again in the morning. The next afternoon, I loaded the game up again. To my surprise, I wasn't Kevin, but a doctor in the middle of performing a surgery. As I ran through Dr. Tamika LaChance's bio, the nurse in the room started asking if I was okay. I realized this game doesn't pause, so I apologized, trusting the tooltips, and I dove into the procedure. 20 minutes later, the patient had passed away, so I did what any gamer would do in this situation. I hopped up on the table and proceeded to teabag the corpse. The nurses obviously didn't take kindly to this, so I spent the next 7 or 8 minutes fighting them off until security showed up and pepper sprayed me. The next week went pretty much the same. Even playthrough was somewhat completely different. I drove through Vancouver like a maniac, punching hobos, stealing old people's canes and walkers, that kind of thing. I was feeling pretty confident in my abilities, so I decided it was time to hunt this pariah. I asked myself where to find them, but the mic picked up the question and a GPS arrow appeared. It's not much of a hunt if they direct me, but I figured with such a huge map, this was just for ease of use. About an hour later, with the cops on my tails after running over a couple people on my way there, I pulled into the alley, pointed out by the arrow. I made my character, an amateur bodybuilder named Nathan Struthers, get out of the car and maneuver around the dumpsters blocking the entrance just as the police show up behind me. I rushed around the corner to confront this guy, but I was stunned by what I saw. I expected a boss battle or some kind of duel, but instead I was greeted by 3 dead bodies and a man cowering in the corner, crying. I heard the cops closing in, so I snapped back to reality and moved quickly to this guy. He was muttering to himself, "It's not a game. It's not a game." Until my large hand gripped his throat and pinned him to the ground. For a moment, I felt legitimate remorse. The look on his face was of mind-breaking fear, but he made no attempt to fight back. I never actually wanted to show mercy to an NPC before, but I felt like he had the information I wanted. Unfortunately, the cops turned the corner and yelled at me to stop, so I took the chance while I had it. I gripped his trachea and pulled. Just as the gore started to pour out, however, the screen went black and began to show me my stats. People killed, 78. People injured, 217. Lives ruined, 503. Acts of compassion, 2. People saved, 0. Brutality, 7.5 out of 10. A message appeared on the screen. "Thank you for playing IRL Vancouver. Unfortunately, your acts of aggression have qualified you to become the next pariah. Good luck." The game shut itself down after that, and an error message came up whenever I tried to restart it. I was pretty upset that I never got to be the pariah, but it was late at that point, so I decided I'd screw with the files the next day. I woke up around 9 and went into the living room to watch the news when I ate my breakfast, as usual. When I saw the headline, "Local bodybuilder brutally murders man, claims amnesia," I nearly choked on my Fruit Loops. A mugshot from my character last night shared the screen with a picture of the pariah, smiling happily with his family at Disneyland. This happened yesterday, and since then I've had 3 people try to kill me, each with the same expressionless face, uncaring as I try to explain what happens if they kill me. At this point, I don't think I can keep up with this for long. I killed 78 people, ruining over 500 lives, 78 daughters, fathers, sisters, and grandparents. Whether I knew what I was doing or not, the weight on my conscience is debilitating and I can't live with myself. If you're playing IRL, please, be a good person. Help those in need. Protect the weak. Show compassion for your fellow men. And when you're convinced you've made the city a better place, please come kill me.